Class?
Yes, yes.
All right, boys and girls. We are getting ready to look at a standard today, and our standard is RICS 6. Can anyone tell me what they noticed about this RI as far as telling me what type of text we're probably going to be dealing with today?
Informational text.
Informational text. What clue did you see in this to help you understand that?
The I.
The I. Awesome. Boys and girls, I'm going to go ahead and read our PBO, our study guide. Now, you have it on your desk, but I want you to track with me, and then we're going to go through our calibration like we normally would. Students will be able to analyze word choice in order to determine an author's point of view or purpose. So thinking about that, boys and girls, what words stand out to you that you see that could be important to our lesson? Alaya? Author's point of view. Awesome. What else do you see that could be important to our lesson? Dawn?
Analyze.
Analyze. Actually, that is a very important word. What else do you see? Alyssa and then Kaden? Determine. What do you see, Kaden?
Purpose.
Purpose. Anything else? Abron and then Aiden.
I think word choice.
Word choice. That's going to be very important in our lesson today. And Aiden, do you see anything that's important?
Point of view.
Point of view. Awesome. So our show words, boys and girls, are analyze and determine. Say analyze.
Analyze.
And determine.
And determine.
Now, boys and girls, I'm going to go ahead and read our objective, and I'm going to read it all the way through with our definition. So I want you to still track with me. Students will be able to analyze, and when we analyze, we're going to break it into smaller parts. We're going to break into smaller parts the word choices, and word choices are words chosen intentionally by the author in order to determine, and determine means to figure out an author's point of view. Point of view, an opinion, perspective, position, or purpose. The author's reasons. Clap one time if you hear me. And I want you to turn to your nearest neighbor, and I want you to just kind of look and see, do you see any words? I know we talked about it that stands out, but any words that you think we really need to pay attention to before we go into our text and introduce what we're reading today. So let's take a minute, turn and talk. So anything that we might have left out, I want you to look at your word bank. Do you see anything, any clues that may help us today as we go into our text?
Point of view. Like determine, because you can determine the main idea of the text that we read in. Analyze the text to find the
Yeah, I want to hear you say word choice. And I said something, I said intentional word choice. What do you know what intentional means? What does that mean?
Intentional means to do something on purpose.
I'm doing it on purpose. I'm putting those words there on purpose. Anybody ever hear anything that I might have missed out on?
the author's
Ron, you
purpose.
see anything? Hear anything?
I think the author.
And the point of view. I know what she did.
How about what?
Because when you read the text, you have to look at the specific words. That's see the term to get the information.
My opinion is how a person feels. All right, class.
Yes.
All right, so before we go into our text, I want to kind of show you a picture and introduce the text so you can have a visual of what we are going to be reading about today. So take a minute and look at this picture. And what do you think this looks like? What's happening in this picture, John?
He's going up the ice.
All right, so you assume it's a he, but they're going up the ice. Anything else that you notice about the picture?
They're ice climbing.
They're ice climbing. What clues help you figure out that they were ice climbing?
The pickaxe and all the resources they're using.
Okay, they got pickets, and then I heard you say they got resources that they're using. What resources do you see them using?
They're like using the ropes.
All right, I see the ropes. And then one more person, what do you notice about this picture?
I noticed that they are wearing a lot of clothes because it may be cold where you are.
Absolutely. So boys and girls, they are actually ice climbing. So we're going to get ready to go into our text. And I wanted to introduce this picture so you will understand what's happening. Let's turn and let's go to our text. Now, our text is called Worth the Risk. Now, before we go into it, before Ms. Adkins does her I do, I want you to just make sure, give me a thumbs up if you have the text, Worth the Risk. Make sure that you have your pencils out. Awesome job. So when we think about author's point of view, boys and girls, we're going to be looking at specific things. I want to take your eyes, and I want you over here in 3, 2, 1. So as we look at our anchor chart, we're going to be leaning on this anchor chart to give us some support. Now, boys and girls, the author's point of view, let's break that down. It's basically how the author feels about a topic. It's my opinion. Could some people have one opinion on something and somebody have another opinion? Absolutely. Now, when we think about the opinion, it's my opinion or beliefs on a topic. Sometimes, boys and girls, you can tell how a person, how an author feels by word choice. Say word choice.
Word choice.
And we saw word choice because it's the words I intentionally put in a text. Now, sometimes in the word choice, I can tell if an author has a positive or I can tell if they have a negative perspective on something. So when we lean into our text today, we're going to be looking at the language, the words, and even the dialogue that might be going on in the text. Clap one time if you hear me. Now we're going to do a clean read. When I say clean read, I'm going to read it all the way through, and then Ms. Adkins is going to go back into paragraph 1, and we're going to start working on that. Worth the risk. Put your finger on the title for me. I want you to underline that for me. Can somebody tell me why underlining the title of a text can be helpful? Aiden.
So you know what the title of it is, so you kind of know what we're learning about?
Okay, so it may give you a clue as to what we're learning about Guadalupe. What would you like to add? Why sometimes paying attention to the title may be significant?
It probably will tell what's happening in the text.
It may tell us what's happening in the text. William.
Maybe it'll help you if you're answering a question.
It might help you if you're answering a question. One more down. How would the title, paying attention to the title, help us as readers?
It will show us what we're reading.
It'll show you what we're reading. I want everybody to look at my finger in the right-hand corner. Now, we always have a genre. iReady always gives us the type of text that we're reading, and we are reading an editorial. Say editorial.
Editorial.
Now, we haven't approached this type of text yet in our grade, in our class, but an editorial is a type of text where an author is giving their opinion about something. So as we read, we're going to be looking for the words that the author uses. We're going to be thinking about how the author feels about a topic, and we're going to be looking at some clues that may help us. So let's track. Worth the risk. Look at your sheet. I'm going to read on my smart board. Ice climbing is a dangerous sport in which people attempt to climb frozen waterfalls and icy mountainsides. Training and proper equipment, along with protective clothing, are essential, but they are not enough to guarantee safety. Even experienced climbers continue to be injured and killed while participating in this high-risk sport. Do the thrills outweigh the risk? When an ice climber is buried under an avalanche, emergency responders are dispatched at great expense to the community. If by luck the climber survives, it may take months or even years for him or her to recover. Are such costs worth a few hours of excitement? Clap one time, you hear me? All right, I'm going to turn my easel around, and boys and girls, I'm going to show you our graphic organizer that we're going to be working with today. Flip over on your third sheet. You have the same sheet, and you're going to track with me first as I do my I do. Now, you're not going to do anything yet to yours, but we're going to track together. So when we look at our graphic organizer, we're going to look at the topic. We're also going to look at the words and phrases that the author used. And we're going to kind of determine, are these words and phrases positive or is it a negative? Is he for this topic or is he against this topic? And our final piece is our text evidence, where we're going to actually take this evidence and put it into a sentence format. Now, I want everybody to track on me. Our eyes on me.
Our eyes on you.
All right, so Ms. Adkins is going to do her I do. When I do my I do, you know that you're looking at me, you're tracking, and I'm going to be thinking aloud. So as I think aloud, I'm not necessarily asking for the question to be answered, but I'm telling you, I'm showing you how I think. Worth the risk. I see something might be kind of risky. So this whole subject, now I know risky might be something that could be a little dangerous, maybe has some issues, but I don't know. That title sticks out to me. Ice climbing is a dangerous sport in which people attempt to climb waterfalls and icy mountainslides. Now it's telling me right there in sentence number 1 that this is a dangerous sport. Training and proper equipment along with protective clothing are essential, but they are not enough to guarantee safety. So they're telling me right there in this sentence that all of this may not guarantee my safety. So I might be climbing up this ice mountain and I still may not be safe. That might be something to think about. Because I gotta think about what the author put, the words, and how they frame it. Even experienced climbers continue to be injured and killed while participating in this high-risk sport. So as I step back, I'm gonna look at the word choices that I see in paragraph 1. And I'm gonna think about, what is this author saying? What does this author feel? I need to analyze the author's position. Everybody should be tracking with me. Now, as I look at my graphic organizer and I look at my text, I'm going to look at specific word phrases. Now, in paragraph 1, I saw the word dangerous. Now, as I write dangerous, you know what? I see a 30, 30, 30 on that. I see a suffix. You still tracking with me? And I know that my 30, 30, 30, OUS, means full of. And if I look at my root word, this could mean full of danger. So, with this sport, it's full of danger. I'm thinking, is it a positive or a negative? If he's telling me it's dangerous, it might be negative. So I'm going to keep on reading and looking at my text. So it's dangerous. Also, the question is, I can't guarantee my safety. All of this protective clothing, it can't guarantee my safety. So if I had to write another word choice, cannot guarantee safety. Now, if my safety can't be guaranteed and I'm into this sport, that's definitely not, that may not be something that's a positive. That might almost be a negative because the author is telling me, the author is showing me that this may be a little treacherous. You're taking a chance if you do this. Let's keep looking at one more position in the first paragraph. Even experienced climbers continue to be injured and killed while participating in this high risk. I notice high risk. Not only are they telling me it's a risk, but it's a high risk. So this sport is high risk, it's dangerous, and I can't have my safety guaranteed. So I don't know. That also might be a negative as far as how I feel about ice climbing. Now, as we get ready to do our we do, you and I, we're going to look at paragraph 2. Say paragraph 2.
Paragraph 2.
Now let's go back to your text because we're going to be working with our text and our graphic organizer. Now I'm going to read the text one more time in paragraph 2, but once I stop, I want you to actually annotate on your text. I want you to see what is in paragraph 2, what words stand out to you that shows, eyes over here, that shows how the author feels. That's showing word choice. That's showing what they think about a topic. Now, what's our topic? Ice climbing. All right, so track with me as I read paragraph 2. Do the thrills outweigh the risks? When an ice climber is buried under an avalanche, emergency responders are dispatched at a great expense to the community. If by luck the climber survives, it may take months or even years for him or her to recover. Are such costs worth a few hours of excitement? So I'm going to give you a moment before we actually go to our graphic organizer. Take a minute, let's focus on paragraph 2. And I want you to circle, I want you to underline any key words that you notice that the author is using that shows how he or she feels about ice climbing. And as I'm coming around, that's what I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at right now, what are the words that you see? What word choices do you notice? I'm only focusing on paragraph 2. Any words that you see, any phrases that you see. And if you need support, I want you to look back at my graphic organizer, just in case, if you need to see how I use my words. And we're gonna take about 30 seconds. Thumbs up if you have your words and phrases circled. Okay. Anyone need more time? Paragraph 2. All right. So let's turn and talk. And I want to hear you share. What did you notice? What word choice did you see that the author used in paragraph 2?
Paragraph 2. I saw emergency responders. I had said that
And I saw R/slash causing work for a few hours of assignment. Because it
Is it
said,
working?
you
Okay.
gotta
What is y'all
die or stay
that
around.
kind of shows the author's point of view?
And when he used outweigh the risk, the risk, I
I
mean,
think you're on a good path, but what
that's
else does he
how you
say
know
about the
that it's
risk
kind of
that's
dangerous.
possible in
Because
paragraph 2?
something
Outweighs
outweighs the
He
thrill.
does mention resources.
If something outweighs the thrill, it's probably dangerous. And if the emergency dispatch are at a great expense, that means they're coming quick.
It
Because
also
think about that in
you're hurt.
a base word.
And it also says
In
if
life
by
or
luck-
death, no situation.
And it also says if by luck the climber survives. So that means if you survive it,
If
it's
you
very
survive,
dangerous.
it's very lucky if you
Hey,
survive.
Lord,
Yes.
but it's a lot of
It may
expenses
take
that
one
it takes
second years
to
for him
build something.
So I know that means
It's a pretty bad
A
injury
lot of
if
money.
it's
So
gonna
now
take
we're
you
thinking about money.
many
Now, what
years
do you
to
think it
recover.
means? It takes great expenses to come and
But he
save.
also
So what do y'all have over here? What words do you use? So what does that tell you?
I can infer that
Exactly.
when he used like a few hours of assignment, would you do that just for a few hours?
Okay, so maybe what was the key?
Would
Did
you
you hear
put
a
your life
key
on the
word
line
that
for
kind of leaned
No, because then
in?
you'll be in the
Alyssa?
hospital and in more pain for longer.
Dispatch.
And it's not like you're actually like you're doing it for fun, you're just doing it to have fun.
Yeah, that's the thrill of it. You
Emergency
do it for
what?
fun. That's why he.
Oh, emergency. What's an emergency responder?
That's why she did the word choices, because when you use thrill is another word for fun.
Ambulance. Okay, so what does that tell you right there? If you have an
It
ambulance
says
involved,
or
possibly.
dispatch.
Alright, so what did y'all hear? Word choices.
When I saw word choices in the text and I saw thrill, it was like you want to put your life on the line for thrill.
What's the
Another
thrill?
word for
Like,
thrill
what's the
is
thrill?
fun.
So what's a thrill seeker? What I mean, like,
Like they doing crazy stuff. They not doing it for money. They're
Okay.
doing it for fun.
Alright, I'll go with that one time. You hear me? Alright, so now, boys and girls, I want you to turn to your graphic organizer. And what I'm going to be coming around with in this point, so we talked about it, we found it. Now I want you to choose your top 2 word phrases and sentences, and I want you to actually put them into the document. So I want you to look at mine. You see how I noted mine? I have my word phrases and choices from paragraph 1, and then I want you to put a negative or positive. And we're going to hold off on the last piece, but I want you to look at the word phrases that you circled. Now I want you to transfer them to your graphic organizer. So you're going to be going back to your tips. So what word phrases, sentences do you see? And also, boys and girls, at the same time, could we cite the evidence?
Yes.
So if we cite it, what paragraph automatically are we citing? 2. Alright, so then you find your sentence number. So at this point, I want you to be able to go back. Let's transfer that information. And then I want you to judge. I want you to analyze. Is it a positive or a negative? What does this show about how the author feels? So look back at paragraph 2. And we're actually taking what we circled and we're putting it into our organizer. And then next to it, I want you to put maybe if it's a plus, if it's a positive, or if it's a negative. So if you feel like it's kind of a negative thing about that topic, then put a minus. If you think it's a positive thing the author is sharing, I want you to put a positive. One more time. right, let's take another minute. Okay, let's put our plus. So what do you think about those? Is the thrill a negative? Is the thrill a positive? So you judge your word choice. Look at it in context though. I want you to look back at the text. I want you to look at the entire thing in context. Let's take about 30 more seconds, and then I want to give an opportunity for us to share out. All right, red light. I have two people share out very quickly, and I want to hear your takeaway. So what did you put in your words and phrases, and then what was your positive or negative spin on the author's point of view? Katie?
I chose expense because when he used it in the text, it says emergency responders are dispatched at great expense.
What does that mean?
Quick, dangerous.
Expense though. I heard somebody say over here, Bron's gonna give you a little help. Expense means what?
Expense means like lots of money.
Lots of money. So now taking that, coupling what you said, is that a positive or a negative, Kaden?
Negative.
All right, let me get one more person to share out. I see you. Come on, Aiden. What did you put?
Paragraph 2, sentence 4. Are such risks worth a few hours of fun?
So what does that tell you?
It tells me that just for a few hours you could still be in the hospital or somewhere else for long.
And is that a positive or a negative?
A negative.
All right, so everybody, all eyes on me.
All eyes on you.
All right, so now this part we're gonna actually use our text evidence and put the pieces together. So in our point of view, then I want you to look up. At the bottom part, you're gonna actually write this out. The author wrote this essay or editorial to, let's pause, to blank. Why did they write that? To inform us, you're going to take a minute and you're gonna think about, based on the evidence, based on the details, why did the author write this article worth the risk? And I want you to cite some evidence for me. In the text it said. So you're gonna give me your thought, why did the author write this, and then you're gonna cite it with evidence. So as I come around, I wanna see you write it, and I want you to make sure that you go back to your notes, look at those word choices. That's fine, I know you guys had to share a text. So Don, you can actually take that first sentence, and then we'll let Mariah take the second sentence. So I want you to look back if you need to see my starter. Think about why the author wrote this text. I'm gonna give you about a minute, and then I'd like to hear someone share out why they wrote this essay, and then I want to hear your evidence. And for the sake of time, you might have to kind of give it to me verbally. So try to at least get your evidence, and then tell me why you think this author wrote this essay. All right, and I know I'm rushing, boys and girls. It's almost time to go. It's the end of the day. Is anybody to a point where they can share out why the author wrote this essay and evidence? All right, LeBron has it. All right, red light. All right, LeBron. The author wrote this essay to what?
To show that ice climbing is dangerous.
To show that ice climbing is dangerous. Let's give some claps there. All right, now, what's our evidence to support this? In the text it said what? Cite your evidence.
In the text, it says, so apparently in paragraph 2, sentence 3. Can you cite that for me? Read that sentence. If by luck the climber survives, it might take months or even years for him or her to recover.
Awesome. Clap one time if you hear me. All right, boys and girls, we're going to pause for a moment, and when we come back together, we're going to be looking at more of a they do and then you do. So you guys did a great job today. Thank you so much. When we think about closing out, what's something, a takeaway from this lesson that we can say about author's point of view? What does author's point of view help us with? Dawn?
It can help us show what the author feels.
It can help us understand what the author feels. Aliyah?
It can tell us that in the text that they may dislike things and like other things.
Right, they may dislike things and like other things. One last statement before we get ready to close out.
It can show the author's opinion about something.
It can show the author's opinion about something. All right, boys and girls, we're gonna go ahead and clean up our desk and read